Hey, what's up everyone? Sam here. So as cities are becoming more and more populated and congested, the demand for small efficient vehicles are increasing. We look at cars like the smart car and see it as tiny, but compared to these next 5 cars, it is pretty big. So in this list, I'll be showing you 5 of the smallest cars of all time. And as always, I'd like to give a big shout out to all these lovely viewers for suggesting this video. Number 5. Fuldamobil. Just looking at the design of this car, you can tell that it was built a very long time ago. It was built between 1950 to 1969 by a German company called Elektromaschinenbau Fulda, which literally translates to electric machine build. This car is extremely rare, with just over 120 ever built. It looks like a three-wheeler, but if you look carefully, you'll actually see that it does have 4 wheels. The 2 back wheels are spaced only about an inch apart, most likely to get around certain laws and give it more stability. Despite the company having the word electric in their name, the car wasn't electric. It actually had a small petrol engine that produced about 10 horsepower. Not particularly much power, but considering its small size and that it's only meant for small trips around town, it was sufficient. The 0 to 60 time doesn't exist because it only had a top speed of 50 miles per hour. However, all in all, it's a pretty cool car and certainly looks quite fun to drive. Number 4. Alto Bianchi Beyond. This thing, in my opinion, looks incredibly beautiful. As you probably already have guessed, it is an Italian-made car and based upon the original Fiat 500. However, they styled it to look more like a coupe rather than the typical hatchback design most microcars go for, and that makes it look so stylish despite being so ridiculous. Around 275,000 of them were made between 1959 to 1970, meaning you can easily buy one in good condition online. However, be prepared to spend quite a lot of money. These tiny fashion accessories don't come cheap. A good example goes for around $28,000. However, if you had that kind of money to spend, where else could you buy such a unique car that will certainly be the center of attention wherever you go? However, if you're looking for performance, you might want to look elsewhere. Its small engine produced about 22 horsepower, giving it a top speed of about 68 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of 61 seconds. Number 3. Isetta. You'll probably recognize this car as the BMW bubble car, and while BMW did slap their badge on it, it was actually built by an Italian company called ISO. It was a huge hit in the 50s, becoming the top-selling single-cylinder car in the world. They shifted about 161,000 units worldwide, meaning you can buy one of these today pretty easily. But since now it's a classic car, expect to pay at least $20,000 for a decent one. It had incredible fuel consumption. In fact, it was the first car in the world to ever hit 94 miles per gallon for us Europeans and 78 miles per gallon for Americans. Those figures are still hard to beat even today, so it sure was a very cheap way to travel. But those excellent MPG figures came at the cost of a tiny weak engine. It produced about 12 horsepower and had a top speed of around 52 miles per hour. Number 2. Commuter car's Tango. It's the only modern microcar on this list, but boy is this car impressive. You'll probably think that it has a tiny 20 horsepower engine and a top speed of maybe 60 miles per hour. But what if I told you it would do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds? That would make it outrun most supercars. It gets all its power from 2 electric motors, which produce a ridiculous 3,000 pound-feet of torque. That's a stupid amount of power for a car of its size, especially when it's not much wider than a motorbike. Something tells me this car wouldn't handle corners very well. But as long as you drive it sensibly, I can imagine this car would be an excellent city car. It has a range of 240 miles, which is plenty for most people. It's electric, so it's very cheap to run. It's incredibly fast, so you can actually go where you want to go without holding everyone else up. And it's so tiny, you can literally park it anywhere. It all sounds pretty amazing, but then you get to the price. The Tango will set you back about $108,000, which is very expensive for what it is. Number 1. PLP 50. Out of all the cars mentioned today, nothing comes as close in size as the Peel P50. It isn't just small enough to park anywhere, it's small enough to quite literally pick up and drag inside, as demonstrated perfectly by Jeremy Clarkson on an episode of Top Gear. At just 54 inches long and 41 inches wide, it holds the Guinness World Record as the smallest production car ever made. However, they are extremely rare, and finding one for sale is no easy task. Only about 47 were ever sold, and a few years ago one went up for auction and managed to sell for $176,000. But it's not all bad news. If you really want one, you can buy one brand new. You see, just recently they went back into production with new modern engineering but kept the same classic design, and prices start at around $21,000, which is still very expensive but far more affordable. Its performance figures, however, won't win any races, with a choice of a petrol or electric engine producing about 3 horsepower and a top speed of around 28 miles per hour. But it is very efficient, and let's face it, you would have to be completely insane to ever try and take it on a highway. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you don't know already, I have launched a second channel called More 5. In this channel I basically go over some of the most weirdest and bizarre news I can find, and also talk about some of the trending topics within the YouTube community too. So if that sounds good and you'd like to check it out, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Once again, thank you for watching, and until next time, feed your mind.